All right, I guess it's time to start the new one. You can stop it, and inshallah. So, Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu salam ala rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi, wa man tabi'a hudah. I started taking attendance from last week, not the previous week, because the previous week we were still doing the test. So I started taking attendance from last week. There's already 3 people who missed once. So the first 15, you will know who are the first 15 today once we start reciting. And once we have empty spots, then we'll take the next people in the list, as we did for in level 1. So we'll talk about it as we go, inshallah. By now, you should have received the course description for level 2. And I repeated at the bottom of this list the links, and I made them clickable for your convenience. You just have to click. You don't have to do a lot of work. Click on it and it will take you to the site, and it has the Quran Android for the people who have Android phones and tablets. So it's clickable. You click on it, it takes you to the site. The homework is there, and you notice in this level 2 we have a midterm, basically test, a mid-level test in a couple of weeks. So the homework today was supposed to be Surah Al-Ma'un. And before we start with المد الطبيعي, which was the topic today, there was something that was raised by one of the brothers last week that I thought it would be interesting to talk about it before we start the topic today. Which is related to the rasm, the way the Mus'haf is written. And I think unless you are familiar with how the Mus'haf is written, you won't be able to recite the words properly. Like the word Salah, for instance, in the word Salah in the Mus'haf is written with a waw, right? But the waw is not pronounced, right? So there are words in the Quran that are written, or I would say letters in the Quran that are written but not pronounced. And some letters are not written in the original Mus'haf, but they are pronounced. Let's start with the ones that are written but not pronounced. As I mentioned just now, the word as-salah. How is the word salah written? I can't even remember how the word salat is written. How is it written? Sad? Something like this. That's correct? In the Quran. In the Quran. So the word that's added here is the waw. So this word, this letter is added, but it is not pronounced. The other example was, for example, you would find the word amanu. Amanu. This alif here is added in the original Quran, in the original Mus'haf, but it's not pronounced. This alif is added but not pronounced. So we don't say amanu wa. We say amanu as if there is no alif here. And here we say salah as if there is no waw. On the other hand, we have letters that are not written. When I say they are not written, that means they are not written in the original Mus'haf, but we pronounce them. Right? A good example for that is, for example, the word Allah. The word Allah, we write it like this. And this small alif here, they write it like this. A small alif means that the alif was not written in the original Mus'haf. It was not written in the original Mus'haf. So even though it's not there, technically it was not there, but we do pronounce it. So anything, this topic was raised by Brother Slim here, who is silent today, unfortunately. We can discuss it after the class, inshallah. There's nothing you can do about it now. The point that you raised last week, you were actually wrong. I thought there was something that I didn't know, but what you said was not correct. Actually, anything, and I mentioned this in several occasions, and I remember mentioning this during Ramadan, when I spoke about the way the Mus'haf is written, and how the Sahaba were careful in transmitting even the writing of the Mus'haf. Any letter that was not found in the original Mus'haf has been written in a small format, if you want, in the Mus'haf, in today's Mus'haf. Anything that is written small like this, it's either going to be a small alif, usually a small alif, or a small waw, or a small ya. Anything that is written small, that means it was not found in the original Mus'haf, but we do pronounce it. There are many other examples. Anything that is written in a big format, like a normal format, let's say the Sad or the Lam or this Lam, that means it was found in the original Mus'haf. The point that was raised by Brother Slim is in the word, for example, the word hadith. We found it in Surah Al-Ghashiyah because we were reciting Surah Al-Ghashiyah quite a bit. In the word hadith, they did not write a sukoon here. They didn't put this sukoon. And I always say that whenever they don't put a sukoon, or they don't put anything on the letter, it doesn't mean that the letter doesn't have anything. Whether we believe that there are 4 types of tashkil, they call it tashkil, the fatha, the kasra, the dhamma, and the sukoon, or you believe that the sukoon means the non-existence of the haraka, right? So whether you believe the sukoon means that there is no haraka, there is no fatha or kasra or dhamma, or the sukoon is a haraka in itself, it doesn't really make a difference, right? So a letter of the alphabet, when you are using it in a word, has to have something. It cannot just be bare of, it doesn't have a sukoon and it doesn't have a fatha or kasra or dhamma, of course, or a tanween. So it has to have something. So whether I write this sukoon or not, the sukoon is there. I'm going to be pronouncing it. So the point that was raised is that they didn't write the sukoon because this letter was not found in the original Mus'haf, which means that this word used to be written with ha, dal, and tha, right? Which is not correct. We'll discuss it, inshallah. As I said.
But that's not what I said.
It's okay. Even if you didn't say it.
That's what you understood, but that's not what I said.
All right, we'll discuss it with you after the class. But I apologize if that was not your point. But the point I'm trying to make now is that because this and you can look at it in Surah Al-Ghashiyah. You can look at it now, and you can look at it again later on, and look at all the words that are written in this fashion, so that we are on the same page. Let's look at Surah Al-Ghashiyah together. So let's look at ayah number 1, which has the word hadith, and the ayah number 5, which has the word ayn, because they both have ya. So if I ask you now, you have it in front of you, right? You have the word hadith in front of you. The word hadith doesn't have nothing on the ya. The ya has nothing on it. And the word ayn there is a sukoon on the ya. So if I ask you, what is the difference between the ya of hadith and the ya of ayn, and why did they leave the sukoon in the word hadith and they did use it in the word ayn? What would you say, or what would be your opinion? Yes, Brother Hanif.
The first one is Al-mud, and the second one is the Al-Lean. And that's why they have not mentioned a sukoon in the first one. They have mentioned.
Jazakallah khair. Did you pay attention to the document I sent? All right. If you paid attention to the document I said, I wrote it down. So this is actually the correct answer, even though you didn't maybe see it in the document. So I wrote down in the document that I sent, and this was an addition that I added to the document, that whenever the ya is harf mad, and you remember harf al-mad, what is the condition for it to be harf al-mad? It has to have, yes, Brother Yahya?
The letter has to have a sukoon, well, it has to be a fatha, a dam, an alif, a waw, or a ya, and it has to have a sukoon, and it has to have, the alif has to have a fatha before it, the waw has to have a dam before it, and the ya has to have a kasra before it.
All right, that's correct. Jazakallah khair. That's the correct answer. And in this case, we have a ya with a sukoon and kasra before it, so it fulfills the condition. So whenever the ya is harful mad, they will not put a sukoon on it in this mushaf. And whenever it is harful lean, which we took last week, they would put a sukoon on it. What is the difference? Now that we mentioned this, what is the difference between the two? What would you say in the way we pronounce the word hadith, and particularly the ya of hadith, versus the ya of ayn?
How long we make the sound?
How long we make the sound? I would disagree, because the length here is the same.
So if you
Jazakallah khair.
remove ya here, and we say we prolong the sound of dal here,
Mhm.
then we pronounce it correctly. But in the ayn word, if we remove ayn from there, or we don't put a spoon on there, and we say if we extend the maftuh ayn sound, then it won't be same. Then it would be an, something like that.
It's very close. Maybe you are putting it in a different statement than I wanted. I wanted it in a different statement, but this is the idea. I don't know if you heard Brother Hanif or not. Brother Bassam, I think you are silent starting from today. Sadly. I'll tell you later on why, when we get to it, inshallah. Anybody else? Brother Adil? You are not silent.
Letter hadith. We say hadith.
Mhm.
The ya is not clear. But we make that longer.
Mhm.
Ayn, the ya is there.
All right, it's very similar to what Brother Hanif said, and it's closer to the statement that I wanted. The statement that I wanted, Jazakallah khair, is that in the word hadith, we are not actually pronouncing the ya. And in the word ayn, we are saying ya. We are saying ayn. In the word hadith, we are not saying hadiyat, right? We are not pronouncing the ya, unless we say hadiyat. But in the word ayn, maybe there are people who talk like this. In the word ayn, you hear the ya. So it is pronounced. And that's why they made a difference in the way they wrote these kind of things in the mushaf. So whenever the ya, so they are making it basically easy for you when you are trying to find harful mad, or trying to find trying to distinguish between harful mad and harful lean, then this will help you. So if you find a ya and you see that there's a kasra before it, if there is no sukoon, it will give you a hint that it is harf al-mad. But if there is a sukoon on it, that means it's harf lean. right? Basically, you don't even have to look at the letter before it. If there's nothing on it, that means it's harf al-mad. If there is a sukun on it, it is harf al-lin. It is helpful. So that's the point I was trying to make today for this. I think it's interesting because it will help you, find these letters that we are learning, huruf al-mad in this case and huruf al-lin. Because once you find them, you will know what to do with them. And we're going to be building on this. On top of this, we're going to be building all the rules of mad. And all the types of mad are connected to each other, one way or another. So what we're going to speak about today, we're going to come back and compare it, like we did for Noon, Sakin, and Tanween. We always come back and compare one mad to another, or the timing of the mad with the timing of the Noon, Sakin, and Tanween. So we are always coming back because they are connected to each other. And that's one of the reasons that we putting these rules and regulations, because this is unlike any other science, Islamic science, if you may. This is like connected. Each lesson is connected to the other. So if a person misses so many, he will be lost. That's why we have these. And I was listening to something about talaq, about divorce, and it says at-talaqu marratan. And I remember that if we miss 2 lessons, it is similar to that. So it makes sense that you have 2 chances. If you miss them, and I understand that for most of us, for most of you, it is probably a legitimate reason. Somebody misses because of a legitimate reason. But because these lessons are interconnected, so we can only do so much. So today's lesson is related to the letters that we talked about, huruf al-mad and huruf al-lin. And of course, we have to have understood the letters of mad, right? Otherwise, we will be basically lost when it comes to mad. So what is the al-mad al-tabi'i? The mad al-tabi'i is the natural mad. This is the action that we're going to do to these letters. We're going to prolong them. So how long are we going to prolong these letters? These letters, the 3 letters of mad and the 2 letters of the letters of mad and the letters of lin, we're going to extend them at least 2 haraka. 2 haraka. As we did for the ikhfa, as we did for the idgham with the ghunna, and as we did for the iqlab. And also we did this to what? Noon and the mim al-mushaddada. 2 haraka. So we extended 2 haraka. 2 haraka, as we said, it's a timing. It's a timing. They say in the books of Tajweed, it is the time. 1 haraka is a time to open or close a finger. So if I say 5 haraka, it's the time for a person to open or close his fingers. You're doing like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can go slower or you can go faster, right? Depending on the speed that you are reading with, that you are reciting with, right? So the mad al-tabi'i is the most frequent mad in the Quran. It's the most frequent mad in the Quran. Probably when you are reciting a surah, most likely you have every other word you will find a mad al-tabi'i, right? These letters are found, the letters of mad especially, and the letters of lin are found everywhere. Every other letter or so, you will find this harf al-mad. So the reason we are saying today, we can safely say that it is extended at least 2 haraka, because we will see later on that it could be extended more when certain conditions are fulfilled. But the default setting for these letters, the letters of mad and the letters of lin, is 2 haraka. This is the default. Right? It will only be extended more if there are certain conditions that we will speak about in the following weeks. So words like the ones that are written here, they all have harful mad. Where is harful mad here in this word, Allah? Brother Hanif? The alif. What's the proof? Because it is an alif. Is that sufficient to say it's an alif? It's not sufficient? It is sufficient. Yeah, sadly she's silent as well. But we welcome Brother Slim and his daughter today, a new addition to our team. It is sufficient, like we said, to say that it is an alif. The alif will always have a sukoon, and it will always have a fatha before it. And if you remember when we talked about the letters of alphabet, we said there is a difference of opinion about the alif. Is it an independent letter that should be added to the alphabet, or is it part of the hamza? When we say hamza, and I remember when we went to school, the hamza and the alif were one and the same. When we say alif, we mean hamza, and when we say hamza, we mean alif. But here in the tajweed, we mean the harful mad. We don't mean the hamza. When we say the word alif, we mean harful mad. And this alif will always have a sukoon, and it will always have a fatha before it. You will not find an alif and before it a kasra or a dhamma. You will never find that. So in this case, so Allah, we have harful mad. And in this case, in this particular case, it is mad tabi'i. It will be extended 2 haraka. 2 haraka only. Not less, not more. I'm saying not less, not more. Why? Because we said the default is 2 haraka. That's why I'm saying not less. And I'm saying not more because there is no condition here that will make us prolong it more than 2. And we are not going to talk about the conditions today because it's a different types of mad that we're going to be talking about in the next few weeks. So here we say Allah, Allah. If we didn't have a mad here, we would have said Allah, right? Allah, without the alif. And here, what is harful mad here in this word? Brother Adil? The alif. What's the proof?
The lam will be on fatha.
All right.
And we pronounce it. We said the alif salah.
All right. So that's the proof, the way we pronounce it.
No.
All right.
That's how the waw is an extra waw or something. It's not just written, just how we write this in Salah and Quran.
Yes.
It's not the part of the waw.
That's correct. So the waw has nothing to do with this word in terms of pronunciation. So the harful mad here is the alif. Even if we assume that there is a waw here, it's not going to be harful mad because the lam before it has a fatha. So it's not going to be a harful mad anyways. So the harful mad here is the alif. So we say salah, salah. If we didn't have harful mad there, we would have said salah, salah, like this. What about this one? Yes, Brother Yahya.
The ya.
The ya is harful mad, and what's the proof?
It has a sukoon and it has a kasra before it.
All right, so how do we say it?
Hadith.
All right, so we make it extra long?
No.
All right, just long enough, 2 haraka.
Yeah.
All right, if we didn't have harful mad here, how would we say it?
Hadith.
Hadith, yes, hadith. It's not going to be Arabic anymore. Jazakallah khair. What about this word here? Amanu. Yes, Brother Yahya again.
The wall.
The waw. And what is the proof?
It has a dhamma before it and it has a sukoon.
It does have a sukun. So how do we say it?
Amanu.
All right. How do we say it? How would we say it if we didn't have this harful mad here?
Amanu.
Amanu. Yes. Is it clear?
What about amanu? There's another alif.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but we'll just let it go today. It may lead us to something more complicated. So we'll just concentrate on this part here. All right. So here, harful mad, as far as the end of the word is concerned, is not the alif. This alif, as we said, this alif is a written alif. It's not a pronounced alif. So harful mad is actually the waw. Even if we I guess in this case we can't even assume that. So the harf al-mad is the waw. All these huruf al-mad, all these the cases that we spoke about just now are huruf al-mad. We didn't have any examples of huruf al-lin. Right? Huruf al-lin, we just mentioned one word here in Surah Al-Ghashiyah number 5, ayah number 5, the word ayn. What is harf al-mad here in the word ayn? Yes, Brother Hanif. We only have two people here, Brother Yahya. Okay, Brother Abu Yahya. The ya, why? What's the proof? Yeah. Sukoon and fatha before it. Say again?
Incorrect answer.
Incorrect answer.
You asked about harful mad. It's not harful mad.
All right. I guess the mistake came from me, and you agreed with me that it is harf al-mad, so it is wrong. So harf al-lin, yes. I know you meant harf al-lin. So the ya is harf al-lin because it has a sukoon and fatha before it. Compared to harf al-mad here, the ya here had the sukoon and kasra before it. So that's the difference. The other word, another word that has, let's say, in the same surah is ju'. So where is harf al-mad here? Harf al-lin. Yes, Brother Mustafa.
It's harf al-mad.
Harf al-mad. Sorry, harf al-mad. This is harf al-mad. Did I mean to write something else? عليهم خوف. All right, خوف also. So what is harf al-mad, harf al-lin here? Yes, Brother Yahya.
The wall.
Why?
Because I have a sukoon and a fatha before.
All right, you agree with him? All right, it's too simple. Is it boring? At the beginning it's always simple, and then we get in trouble later on, right? All right. The word, there are many other words like hunin. Like the word hunin or haun. Sorry. And many other words. So what is required from you, and I always tend to ask people not to rely on memorizing a lot of definitions, but here at times you will have to remember at least something that you will have to you will need when you are reciting. In this case, you will have to remember the definition of harful al-mad and harful lin. You have to be able to recognize the letter. Unless you know which letter is harful al-mad or harful lin, you won't be able to do the mad, or you won't be able to know where to do the mad. So you have to remember the definition. Sometimes I understand that if I ask you what the definition is, you will not be able to tell me in words what is the definition. But if you see it, if you see the word, you will know, which is okay. I mean, as long as you know when you see the word, if it has harf al-mad or not, that's good enough. And at the beginning we talked about this sukun, whether the sukun is written or not on harf al-mad. So this will help you know, without having to know the definition, which one is harf al-mad and which one is harf al-lin. So if you find a waw or a ya without a sukun, you know that it is harf al-mad. If you find a waw or a ya with a sukun, you will know that it is harf al-lin. Right? So this is the story about al-mad al-tabi'i, the natural mad. Any questions before we start reciting Surah Al-Ma'un? Next week the homework is Surah Al-Fatiha. Memorize it if you didn't. Any questions, or we start reading Surah Al-Ma'un? All right, we start with Brother Sajjad. Welcome back.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون.
All right, Brother Sajjad, ayah number 1. The word أرأيت. Do we have mad in the word أرأيت?
Yes.
Where?
تيام سكون فتح الفور.
All right, you mean mad طبيعي, natural mad. And the proof is that we have harf al-lin. And the proof that we have harf al-lin is that we have a ya preceded by a fatha. I'm sure that's what you meant.
Yes.
So this is how we put it. The question was, if you are not following, the question was, do we have mad tabi'i in the word ra'ayta? So if you say yes, you have to give the proof. The proof is that we have harf al-mad. What is the proof that we have, or harf al-lin? What is the proof that we have harf al-lin? Is because we have a ya with a sukoon preceded by a fatha. That's the end of the statement. Jazakallah khair. Next is Brother Baghdad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون.
All right, the word salatihim, ayah number 5. Do we have mad in ayah number 5, the word salatihim?
What I follow today, I think there is alif in salat
Mm-hmm.
and the alif is one of the huruf al-mad. So yes, there is a
All right, what's the proof that the lam, the alif is harf al-mad?
because the alif it's always if there is a sukoon that always follow with the
Preceded.
Preceded by fatha.
All right, you agree with him? All right, Jazakallah khair. Brother Abu Yahya.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون.
Jazakallah khair. The word ara'ayta, the common mistake here, and the mistake that you did just now, is you said ara'ayta. And the hamza is always soft. So it should be not a. Because of the ra after it, we tend to make it strong. We tend to make it heavy. So ara'ayta, and that's the common mistake. The word alladhi in that ayah and the ayah after it, does it have a mad?
Yes.
What kind of mad?
طبيعي.
What's the proof?
The ya has a sukoon and there is a kasra before.
All right. Do you have sukoon written in your mushaf?
No,
All right. So does it have a sukoon?
it should.
Should. It does. All right. Jazakallah khair. Yahya.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون.
All right, Jazakallah khair. The ayah number, the last ayah, the word ma'un, al-ma'un. Do we have a mad?
Yeah.
What kind of mad?
طبيعي.
All right, what's the proof?
There's an alif and there's also a wow with a dhamma before it.
So how many mads do we have there?
2.
All right, so the first one is the one on the alif.
Yeah.
And what's the proof? That's
It's an alif.
because it's an alif. And the waw, what's the proof?
It has a sukoon and it has a dhamma before it.
Do you agree with him? You agree? So there's 2 of them there. It's a bonus. You have a bonus. Mad. All right, correct. Jazakallah khair. Brother Mustafa.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون.
Jazakallah khair. Ayah number 6. The word alladhin.
So there is a mad طبيعي there.
All right. And what's the proof?
The proof is that we have a sakinaya and there's a kasra before.
All right. Do you agree with him? All right. That's too easy. All right. Jazakallah khair. Brother Ibrahim.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون.
All right, the word للمصلين in ayah number 4. Did anybody notice how he read it? What did you notice, brother? He said yes.
Like start at the ya and then continue.
I'm not sure if he stopped at the ya, but the what I noticed, yes, brother Hanif. The lam, yes, he said musallin, like the lam was too strong. And also another mistake, brother Ibrahim. What's the rule in an in the next ayah, number 5? Why? Why? What's the proof?
Followed by Sad.
What is followed by sad?
No.
Noon followed by sad. So that's idgham.
Yeah.
All right. Do you agree with him, brother Sharif? You don't agree? All right. Do you agree with brother Sharif? That's it's ikhfa because it's noon sakina followed by sad.
Yes.
You didn't make any غنى, you didn't make it long enough whether it was ikhfa or idgham. So it was supposed to be عن صلاتهم عن صلاتهم like this. So I think it's a good idea to start asking question about the before you forget, you know, second at-tanween, right? All right, jazakallah khair, brother Ibrahim. Brother Ahmed.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون.
Jazakallah khair, brother Ahmed. Ayah number 2, فذلك. Do we have a mad in the word فذلك?
We have alif, yes, الطبيعي.
Yes.
Alif, and alif is half.
All right. Do you agree with him? All right. Jazakallah khair. Brother Hanif.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون.
Jazakallah khair, brother Hanif. The word فويل in ayah number 4. Do we have a mad there?
We have mud here because we have Ifatulin, yeah, because it is in Halat Sakun, distributed by a Maf'ul method.
What kind of mad is this?
So the
All right. Do you agree with him?
Yes.
Brother Ahmed, you don't agree? All right. All right. I thought you said you don't agree. All right. Jazakallah khair. Brother Mahmoud is not here. Brother Sharif.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون.
Jazakallah khair. The word musallin and salah is the same thing as we said to Brother Ibrahim. You are making the lam too strong. Unless you want to switch to warsh team. Warsh is the other qira'ah where they tend to make the lam strong. The question for you is the word miskin, al-miskin in ayah number 3. Do we have a mad?
نعم مد طبيعي الياء الساكنة سبق حرف عليه كسر.
طيب ياء with sukun preceded by kasra. Do you agree with him? Yes. All right. Jazakallah khair. Brother Nasser.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون.
Brother Nasser, I'm not sure if I mentioned before, try to read slower, much slower. And we mentioned earlier the rule for an salatihim. What is the rule, if you remember, an salatihim? So what's the rule? Brother Sharif, what's the rule? You were not here. All right.
What could he answer?
Yeah, but he was not here a minute ago. But that's what I meant. I meant when we were talking to Brother Nasser, he stepped out. So what was the rule, Brother Mustafa?
Al Salah,
Yeah.
it's no sakina followed by Sad. Sad is one of the letters of Ikhfa.
So it's ikhfa. Ikhfa, Brother Nasser. And we mentioned it to Brother Ibrahim before you, so you are not allowed to make the same mistake. So عن صلاتهم, and make it extra long and nice. عن صلاتهم, and that's why if you read slower, it will come out better. All right, the question for you is the word فذلك in ayah number 2. Do we have mad?
Yeah, we have mad with fatha.
Do we have mad? What kind of mad is it? Tell us what kind of mad. You are talking about harf al-mad, but I'm saying what kind of mad? What's the action that we are doing? The question is ما نوع المد? نوع المد. The mad that we spoke about today, مد طبيعي, جزاك الله خير. And the proof?
It's preceded by fatha.
That's not the proof. The proof is harf al-mad. Alif. And which alif are we talking about? The small tiny one like this one.
The small one, yeah.
The small one.
Before the lam,
after the dal.
After the dal. Do you agree with him?
Yes.
All right. Jazakallah khair. Next, Brother Abdullah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون.
جزاك الله خير. Ayah number 1, the word بالدين.
We have yeah. We have مد طبيعي يا وفتح قبلها.
Say again, the ya.
Yeah, and the كسر.
So the ya, just any ya
Yes.
with sukun. Because the sukun is not written, so you don't want to mention it.
Yeah, with sukun.
All right. So ya with the sukun and kasra before it. So that's harf al-mad. Do you agree with him?
Yes.
All right. Jazakallah khair. Brother Adil.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين وويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون.
Jazakallah khair. Those are the 15 active participants. There is already 4 people who missed one lesson. So pretty soon, whoever is not active, provided that they did the test, they will be upgraded, inshallah, to active participant, as we did in level 1. Right? So that's the list, and I will tell you, inshallah, hopefully next week, who is next in terms of priority for the active, for being active, upgraded to active participant. Let me read it, and then if you have any questions, we'll take them, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون. Any questions before we close, inshallah, today? So next week we have the second type of mad, which is called al-mad al-'arid lil-sukun. Al-mad al-'arid lil-sukun, and we'll explain what it means. The mad al-'arid lil-sukun, which is a mad that comes before a non-original sukun. This is what the statement means. Mad al-'arid lil-sukun. The mad that comes before a non-original sukun. And the homework, as I said, Surah Al-Fatiha. Surah Al-Fatiha, we're going to be reading it, and we'll be concentrating on this new type of mad. Of course, and the mad al-tabi'i. So mad al-tabi'i and mad al-'arid lil-sukun, we're going to apply them to Al-Fatiha in a new, different way. And we'll see what kind of flexibility we have when we apply these mads to Surah Al-Fatiha. Surah Al-Fatiha is a good practice. So if we don't have any questions, we will conclude, inshallah. Today we have refreshments that were brought by our brother Baghdad here, courtesy of brother Baghdad, Jazakallah khair. After we pray Maghrib, since you don't know what it is, it's hidden behind this desk. We can pray Maghrib and have the refreshment and then go, inshallah. All right? Jazakumullah khair, subhanakallah, muhammadik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik.